From their incredible fight back in 2018 to how evenly matched the two are today, Dustin Poirier vs. Justin Gaethje 2 changes everything. Here's why. Let's rewind the clock to April 2018, back when these two warriors first collided inside the octagon. It was a battle for the ages. Poirier and Gaethje, two high-action fighters, unleashed like a hurricane of fists and kicks. Gaethje kicked things off with some gnarly leg kicks. He was like a lumberjack chopping down trees, targeting Poirier's wheels from the get-go. But hold on tight, because Poirier had other plans. He responded with lightning-fast boxing combinations that would make even Muhammad Ali blush. As the fight went on, it turned into an absolute slugfest. Both Poirier and Gaethje were throwing bombs to no end. I mean, these guys left caution at the door and brought the chaos right into the cage. It was like watching a blockbuster action movie, but with real punches and kicks. The crowd was on the edge of their seats. Then, in the fourth round, Poirier dug deep into his bag of tricks. He must have found some hidden superpowers or something, because at the 33-second mark, he unleashed a storm of strikes that left Gaethje wobbling. It was a knockout, and Poirier emerged victorious. Fast forward a few years, and we find ourselves in the midst of rumors and rumblings about a rematch. Guess who was leading the charge? None other than the man himself, Justin Gaethje. This guy wants that rematch like a kid wants candy at Halloween. In an interview with ESPN MMA, Gaethje spilled the beans. He straight up said, "I want a rematch with Dustin Poirier." No beating around the bush. Gaethje put it out there for the world to hear. And you know what? I respect that kind of directness. But that's not all he talked about. Gaethje has big dreams. He believes this rematch could catapult him into some serious title discussions. He wants those 5-round battles, the ones that separate the contenders from the pretenders. But hey, if it ends up being a 3-round bout, he's cool with that too. He just wants to step back into that cage and show the world what he's made of. Now, here's the interesting part. Gaethje isn't just focused on the fight itself. He wants to work on himself in the coming months, stay in tip-top shape, and bring a more controlled and calculated version of himself to the octagon. Less emotion, more strategy. That's his plan. Gaethje sits right below Poirier at number 3 in the UFC lightweight rankings. For him, a fight with Poirier just makes all the sense in the world. In an interview with MMA Fighting, Gaethje laid it all out. He said, "He's number 2. He has no dance partner, and the same with me. I think that fight is certainly a title contention fight." He knows that the winner of the Oliveira vs. Dariush fight in October will be next in line for a title shot. So he's looking for that perfect timeline to put himself in the mix. But here's the thing. Poirier might not be as eager to jump back into the cage with a highlight. After all, rematches can be tricky, especially when you consider how violent Gaethje fights can be. The man brings the thunder, that's for sure. Gaethje understands that too. He knows he can't force anyone to fight him. He said, "I'm not saying he doesn't want to fight me, but he probably doesn't need to ever fight again with how much money he's made." Yeah, Poirier has stacked up some serious cash in his career, but Gaethje remains hopeful, believing that Poirier will take the risk and step into the cage once more. Both fighters have evolved since their first encounter. Gaethje acknowledges that and says, "I think we're both different fighters from 2018. It's a different ballgame now, but the fight is still a fight." Gaethje respects Poirier's skills and sees him as a phenomenal matchup. He even throws in a fight of the century reference because, well, he knows what these two are capable of. And guess what? Poirier seems game for the scrap too. He retweeted Gaethje's call for the fight, showing his excitement. He even echoed Gaethje's words, simply writing, "Fight of the century." Poirier feels like he's got something to prove. He's been putting on fight of the years long before Gaethje entered the scene, and he's not afraid to let the world know. Now, let's break down the arsenal of the highlight himself, Justin Gaethje. This guy brings the heat with his striking game, and he's got some serious tools up his sleeve. There's his incredible striking. His hands are lightning fast. He knows how to throw them with precision and power. And despite his exceptional wrestling background, he's become one of the best strikers in the game. He's incredibly versatile. Speaking of wrestling, Gaethje's credentials are top-notch. He's a 2-time Arizona State High School champion and an NCAA Division I All-American. That kind of background gives him an edge in grappling exchanges. Even though he doesn't go for takedowns too often, keep an eye out for those slick transitions and well-timed scrambles. But let's not forget about Gaethje's secret weapon, the devastating leg kicks. This man knows how to chop down his opponents like a lumberjack going to town. Those leg kicks wear down and set up his thunderous power punches. It's a dangerous combination. Now, when it comes to takedown defense, Gaethje is no slouch. He's got excellent skills at keeping the fight standing, and he's only been taken down a handful of times in his UFC career. Good luck trying to bring him to the canvas, because he's got other plans in mind. Endurance is another strength in Gaethje's arsenal. This man can keep up a high pace throughout the entire fight. That kind of stamina allows him to wear down his opponents, exploit any openings they give him, and unleash his devastating power. And let's talk about that power. Gaethje packs a serious punch in both hands. One clean shot from him can turn the lights out and send his opponents into another dimension. It's the kind of power that can end a fight with a single explosive punch. Scary stuff. But on the other hand, his opponent is pretty insane. Dustin Poirier is an incredibly well-rounded fighter with a laundry list of strengths that make him a force to be reckoned with. First and foremost, Poirier's boxing skills are downright impressive. I'm telling you, this man has hands that can make opponents see stars. He's taken down elite-level strikers like Gaethje, Alvarez, and Hooker with his crazy power and precise striking. His boxing is top tier, and he's considered one of the best in the UFC. Those fists of his are like wrecking balls looking for a target. But don't think for a second that Poirier is a one-trick pony. Oh no, he's got more tricks up his sleeve, such as his knockout power. Poirier possesses proven knockout power in both hands. When he connects, the lights can go out in an instant. He knows how to finish fights, and he does it quickly. Let's also not forget about Poirier's slick submission game. This man can catch opponents off guard and snatch submissions like a snake striking its prey. He's made several fighters tap out in his UFC career, showcasing his prowess on the ground. Don't underestimate his grappling skills. Speaking of which, Poirier is no slouch in that department either. He's a stout grappler who knows how to control his opponents with precision. He's won fights by utilizing his grappling skills to impose his will and dominate on the ground. And like Gaethje, Poirier is known for spamming leg kicks. He knows how to dish out some serious punishment with them. He uses them to wear down his opponents, slowing them down and creating openings for his striking combinations. It's all part of his calculated game plan. Endurance is another key strength for Poirier. The man can keep up a high pace throughout an entire fight. He's got the stamina of a marathon runner, allowing him to wear down his opponents and seize any opportunities they present. His relentless pace is a force to be reckoned with. With all that said, who would win in this potential rematch? Well, it's a tough one to predict. Both Poirier and Gaethje are absolute warriors, and they're going to leave it all in the octagon. Poirier has the previous win over Gaethje, but let's not forget that was years ago. Both fighters have evolved, sharpened their skills, and become even more dangerous. Gaethje's hunger for redemption is palpable, while Poirier aims to solidify his place at the top of the lightweight division. It's going to be a clash of styles, power, and heart. Will Gaethje's explosive striking and wrestling background be enough to overcome Poirier's precise boxing and submission game? Or will Poirier's well-rounded skills and endurance prove too much for Gaethje to handle? No one really knows yet, but one thing is for certain. This fight has all the ingredients to be an absolute barn burner. So, from how evenly matched the two are today, to their incredible fight back in 2018, Dustin Poirier vs. Justin Gaethje 2 changes everything.